The tension between the Black and Latino community needs to stop. And we need to be the generation to stop it. Anti-blackness exists in our community. We know this. Anti-blackness also exists within the Black community itself. All communities of color struggle with this. And the reason why is what we all have in common. We were all colonized and trained to have a mindset of you versus me for survival. But that ends with us. We need to lead with unity and not division. We have to be the change we want to see. We have to stop pointing the finger in both communities and make the decision that we are going to choose to be united versus divided. I'm not going to pretend like I have all the answers, but here are examples of how you can show up differently and be the change you want to see. Number 1, share stories of solidarity. Share stories of love. Share stories of when you have experienced the Black or Latino community showing up in your spaces. We need to shift the narrative. Number 2, if your reality is division between the Black and Latino community and your goal is unity, then it is up to you to seek out examples of when the Latino and Black communities show up for one another, where they show love, where there is actual solidarity, because guess what? It exists. And if you need a place to start with me. I am happy to be a part of your network of Latinos who have nothing but love for our Black sisters and brothers. Number 3, ask your neighbors how you can be helpful. You need to lead with your heart in this moment. That is the only way that we are going to experience an actual shift. We have to show up as human beings. We have to show up vulnerable. We have to show up as the change that we want to see. Lastly, ask others to join you. Let's actually start in the comments. Share your stories of solidarity and love. If members of the Latino and Black community have a hard time seeing it, let's show them how it's actually done. I stand with my Black brothers and sisters, and I also stand with my Latino familia. But the change, it starts with us. I love you.
Attention, attention, get in here, get in here. Oh, you sound so professional, and if I was an airhead, I would believe you. If I was a Mexican and you was Donald Trump, I would believe everything you're saying right now. But you know what you just, you try to dip around it. We ain't have a problem with you. We didn't have a problem with y'all. Y'all have a problem with us.
But some of y'all voted for Donald Trump. Some of y'all voted for Donald Trump. We cannot help you anymore. Some of y'all voted for Donald Trump.
November 5th, 2024. But anyway, y'all like my braids? Told you I was going to get them done. They did good, too. What y'all think?
This is a famous painting drawn from life of the real Taino people. See, you're doing videos talking about the tension between Latino and Black people needs to stop, but it's you Latino people who have brought that tension. You see, the real name of the Taino is the Lukukairi, which means the people of the islands, all of the islands. That's because the kings ruled the mainland from the islands. That's what Taino means, noble person. Nobleman means you're of noble stock, which means royalty. See, they have pushed aside the royal bloodlines who you calling Black people today and brought in their own people, started learning Latin, and now call yourselves Latinos, which essentially culturally assimilates the Boricua. And that's why I had to come up here and unpack that, because Latino people in the Boricua, or the Valley Noble Lords of the Borinquen, are not the same people. Peace to the people.
Over 46% of the Latin community voted for leaders and supported movements that push for mass deportation, family separation, and anti-migrant laws. They voted for these they made a choice knowing that this was actually gonna affect their own community directly. Most of them were like, go back and come the right way. For those that who actually voted, those that are actually living legally in the United States of America, they're the ones that voted for this. And when you look at the Black community, or when these people call for Black unity, or to finish the tension that there is right now between the Latin community and the Black community, that 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris. 82% of Black men voted for Kamala Harris. So there is no way you can sit and call for unity and ask Black community to unite with the Latin community when you're not calling your own community. 46% of the Latin community voted for everything that is happening because back in their mind they thought that these policies were going to affect Black Americans, they were going to affect the Black immigrants, and now it's affecting their community in large numbers. Yes, they're actually Black Americans who are getting detained, but not for deportation, like whatever happened in Chicago, and people are like, oh, now we told you all that after they're done with us, they're gonna come for Black Americans. No, that is not the case, because where are they gonna deport Black Americans to? Black Americans have been living in the United States of America for centuries. That is their home country. There is no place for them to be deported to. So when we see such people sitting down and calling for unity, it just makes us question why there is a sudden call for unity from the Latin community when a big percent of their people actually voted for this. There is no way your community can support leaders who built their careers on anti-blackness and anti-immigrant laws and then come out here and call for Black solidarity, or say that you actually stand with Black people and you're expecting for Black people to come back and say that I stand with my Latin community, because that is not solidarity, because you're only calling for unity now that your community is actually being hurt by what's happening. Like, that's hypocrisy, guys. I don't know what you all think, but I want us to watch these videos together and what people actually had to respond to this woman after calling for unity and calling an end to the tension between the Black and the Latin community. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on this episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos that you're seeing on your screens. I would really love you to tell me on the comment section what you all think about these, and especially if you're Latino watching these, you're from Mexico or any other part, tell me, do you think that this is actually right? Do you think that Black Americans should be out there protesting and helping you fight against mass deportation while a big percent of your own community voted for this? Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. So let's just dive right ahead and we'll come back with more commentary.
Anti-blackness also exists within the Black community itself.
Find something nice to say. I'm just thinking about it. Anti-blackness for the Black community exists because other people are being anti-black towards us. Black people are not being anti-black towards each other. In a Latino community, anti-blackness exists because, again, the Black people within a Latino community have to deal with it from other people. And a lot of times, them problems are not addressed. They're not actually sat down and talked about realistically. And the Black Latinos that do speak out, a lot of times we get gaslit. Oh, that's not what was going on. Oh, you're trying to start division. All you're trying to do is divide us. You can talk about unity, but you can also talk about the problem. You can want to have unity and love, but you can also address the issue. You can fight for a cause and do both. But a lot of people don't do both. A lot of times anti-blackness is not checked. Anti-blackness is not even talked about. A lot of times people don't even know what anti-blackness is and what it looks like because they don't even go through it. But they want black people to do free labor when we have to deal with anti-blackness. And some people we even dumb down and tone police black people on how we should deal with certain things. I want that to sit for a minute.
This train of thought is the reason why there is an issue. First and foremost, we weren't all colonized. Black Americans were enslaved, tormented, traumatized, and that's a bigger situation. I'm Dr. Larry Smith. I'm a historian, history professor, entrepreneur, pan-Africanist, pro-black social scientist, social justice activist, queer boy, who just talks about a lot of shit and have a lot of knowledge on a lot of shit. This perspective that we were all colonized is part of the reason why there is a divide between the black and the Latino community. Your assumption is that our experience has been the same, creating the same motivations for why we treat each other the way we do. The difference is, majority of the Latino community that the black community have encountered have come into our communities that we have for ourselves. And not only have come into our communities, y'all have come into our communities with the air of superiority and degrading black people, because in your home countries and in your communities, you degrade black people because of your anti-blackness from your colonialization. The problem is y'all don't have enough understanding of our history and a sympathy towards us because of said history to understand that y'all cannot treat us like y'all are the oppressors, which many of y'all tend to do. An enslaved group of people who were considered less than human, who were treated like animals, who were commodified. Capitalism got its start off the backs of black heads. The word capitalism has the word capita in it, which means heads that were being counted. And guess whose black heads were being counted? So when you're treated like a product, when you're treated like nothing, when your humanity has been totally stripped away from you, and you literally have to put the pieces back together to create a community, only to have outside forces of people who are also oppressed, but y'all come in with this air that somehow your oppression didn't break you as much as our oppression broke us, that creates the problem. So there is no black Latino divide. We all live amongst one another. It's just how y'all perceive us and how y'all treat us. And based on how y'all treat us and how y'all perceive us, y'all expect us to show compassion when y'all go through stuff, when in reality, y'all don't show compassion when we go through stuff, nor do y'all check when your community treats us a certain way. We're not the same in regards to our experiences. Colonialization is a completely different animal than chattel slavery. And yes, I do agree that we should at some point work together because we do have a common enemy in white supremacy. But the way of going about it is not gaslighting black people into thinking that we're like you, or gaslighting into black people thinking that we treat each other the way we treat each other because of the same reasons. That's fundamentally, factually, and historically false. We are responding to outside agitators who treat us like trash. You are responding from a colonized mindset that is anti-black, that views black people as less than. Saying that anti-blackness exists in the black community does not justify anti-blackness in the Latino community. So perhaps y'all should understand our experience as black Americans through the experience that we had through our history. Learn about our history so that y'all don't treat us just like the oppressor. Learn our history so that y'all don't come here thinking that somehow y'all have a superiority over us. Learn our history so you can understand why our community functions the way it functions and why we go through the things that we go through. Once y'all start showing more compassion and being a little bit more hospitable when y'all come into our house as immigrants, then y'all can start to talk about building a relationship, building a bridge. But until y'all check that shit, there will always be a problem.
All right, that sounds good. It sounds good. But let's keep it real. We never came at y'all like that. Y'all came to us like that. Y'all called us dirty motherfuckers. Y'all called us lazy. Y'all disrespected the hell out of us. We ain't never said nothing about y'all like that. Matter of fact, we've always given y'all love. We don't get the same love back. We invite y'all to our cookouts, parties, everything else. We can't get to a quinceañera. We can't even kick it with y'all like that. Because of how y'all feel. Y'all will tell y'all daughters, don't ever mess with a black man. They're dirty, they're rapists, they're disgusting, they're lazy, they hit their women, they abuse their women. Y'all told them that. How do I know this? Because I've heard the conversations. I've had homies tell me, Mexican homies, tell me, this is what they tell us when we're kids. Don't mess with black people. Black people are evil. Black people are destructive. Black people are lazy. Black people are not community orientated. Don't mess with us. That's what y'all were telling us for years. And now all of a sudden you want to turn around and about face and say, let's get together, let's kill this, let's make this generation that kills this years and years and years and years of racism of your people towards my people. And yeah, there's a small pocket of us that feel some kind of way about y'all. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the overall collective of y'all. The overall collective of y'all has always been to disrespect black people. And it's always been that way. If you want to fix it, you need to go to your people and talk to them about that. Because that's one thing about us. We're not a hate-filled people. To be honest, we only really dislike one particular race of people. We don't hate anybody else. We've never come with the hate. It was always given to us. We are a peaceful people. We are compassionate people towards one another. No, that's systematically put in. But overall, we're a very compassionate people. We would never, ever treat y'all the way that y'all treated us for years. I got a story before I get off of here. When I was a kid, I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club. And when I first started going, I was a very shy kid, very quiet, very to myself. I meet a Mexican kid in there. I can't remember his name. I'm a generous kid, so, you know, I had a little money or whatever, so I would share and do different things and different things of that nature. I had one of the staff people come up to me and tell me about this particular kid, but I didn't want to believe it. This kid sat here when I wasn't able to do something for him. And this is a Hispanic kid. This is a Mexican kid. This is a Latino kid. He wouldn't even bother time of day with me. Call me all kind of N-words. But then when I would do something for him, we were the best of friends. This is how y'all act towards us. So if you want to fix it from within and then come holler at us. We'll be here waiting when you're done.
Attention, attention, get in here, get in here. Oh, you sound so professional, and if I was an airhead, I would believe you. If I was a Mexican and you was Donald Trump, I would believe everything you're saying right now. But you know what you just, You try to dip around it. We ain't have a problem with you. We didn't have a problem with y'all. Y'all have a problem with us. So now it's, oh, we're going to be the generation. Girl, bye. Yeah, you and your people need to be the generation. Because y'all saying all this, but y'all acting like all the other evidence isn't there and online and in real time, in person. But, you know, we're going to be the generation to stop this. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because I can hear that little kid that's sitting in the car seat in the back of the car going, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Because you're only speaking like this because you need some help right now. And before you come back and say, once it happens to us, you're next. No. We were first. We still are. It looked like they taking a break from us, but they not. They're not. And here's the funny thing. Not only did you bring this upon yourself, right? Not only, but I'm going to also say, some of your PR neighbors, because they are not getting deported. They're not. I think some of them snitched on y'all asses too. I think some of them voted against y'all too because they know how y'all are. They know. They see it. They sick and tired of your BS too. But to come up here and try to gaslight us, y'all don't even realize if we were dumb enough to come out there, we all totally fucked. Because then they're going to have an excuse to do far more. And once again, I understand y'all don't want to go back to your country. We don't have that. We don't have that opportunity to go to any other country. Because if that was the case, a lot of us probably wouldn't even be here now. I'll tell you what. Go home. Mend your relationship with your more melanated natives. You know, the other ones that y'all act like don't exist. Mm-hmm. Mend that relationship. Let me see how that go. Then come back in. I'll let you know if I want to fuck with you or not. Okay? Because that's how it's going from here on out. I'm sorry to tell you. You want me to cash up you $10 on payday? Well, not even 10. Because I got to get 5 to my Uber driver as a tip. $5? Or is $4.99 good too? That and a prayer. That's all you're getting. I'm not even baking cookies for none of y'all. Say it again. The loudest ones are the most disrespectful ones. But yeah, no. I'm gonna sit right here in this hot house and get hot with a hot flash. That sounds like more fun.
Yes, guys, that is what Black Americans have been saying. On November 5th, and even during the campaigns before elections, Black Americans were creating videos and calling for unity. I've seen videos where so many are the times where the Latin or the Hispanic community always come out here and create videos and say why we are success is because we are united, because we support each other. And you look back and wonder why or where was this unity on November 5th, why your own community went on ahead and voted against these people that are not legal in the United States of America to be deported, because you all like talking about unity and how you all support each other. But we never saw that on November 5th. We are not seeing that right now. There are people who are just like, yeah, let these people go back and come the right way, because if I did it, they can also do it. That is what most people are saying, and they're from the Hispanic community. They are your own people. There were so many groups of the Latinos for Trump. They had songs, nice songs, dancing. They were going to these campaign rallies. Even after all the insults and everything that these guys said about them, they still went on ahead and voted for this. Imagine over 46% of the Latin community voted and stood with systems that have been hurting Black Americans over the years, and everything that Black people are telling you about is now happening. It's not like Black Americans are not being affected by what's happening, but they warned you about this. These are things that they have been experienced for centuries. They've been going through this. Everything that is happening right now, it's not only happening to the Latin community because of mass deportation and police are profiling them everywhere, but this has been the experience for Black people for over 400 years. When people are saying that when they are done with us, that they'll be coming for Black people, I mean, Black people have been policed for over 400 years. There's so many Black people who are behind bars, innocent Black people who are in jail for something they never did, for crimes that they never committed. The same way that you're seeing your people being detained and they are being held somewhere at ICE detention centers or somewhere, these have been the experience for so many people in the Black community. And this is why Black people are actually warning you about everything, warning you about what's going to happen when you vote for this administration and this specific time. And this is why you hear Black people saying that this is not our fight. They don't want to be out there fighting for communities that actually supported and voted for the systems and leaders that have policies that are hurting the Black community. It's so crazy that most people thought that these policies were not going to hurt them or affect them in any way. And right now that they are being affected, they're only calling for unity, not because they care, but because their community is hurting. And that's right there is the problem, because that is hypocrisy. That is not calling for unity. That is not because you care. This is the time that so many of you are seeing that you have a common enemy. But before this was happening, you thought that your enemy was the Black Americans. That was not the case. Black Americans told you all about this. They've been preaching about this even before the elections. The last time that even a huge number of the Hispanic community still voted for Trump, though he didn't win, Black Americans were still warning you all about it. But none of you ever want to listen to Black Americans, because why? You've learned that they're actually the enemy. You've chosen to believe the stereotypes and everything that has been told out there by your enemy about the Black Americans. Now, when she talks about anti-blackness, let's be real. Anti-blackness runs deep in the Latin community. Like colorism, where lighter skin are praised, darker skins get punished. Like we've seen it on TV shows, you've seen it on families where even kids themselves come out and say how they were treated bad as kids just because of their skin color, just because they were dark or something. Even their parents, their own mothers calling them names. It's so crazy because there's so many clips, because some people will say, oh, that's a lie, I've never heard of that. But when you go on TikTok, you see so many clips of different people who are now adults and telling us on how their experience was being raised and growing up in a Latin community who maybe their father was melanin, and how their mothers would treat them and the names that they would actually call them. It's so crazy that this is affecting so many people in the Latin community. The Afro-Latinos are really suffering in the Latin community. And they have even made it to be like only when you're lighter to their liking is that you're considered beautiful. But when you're melanin like me, or even you have less melanin than mine, to them, they just don't care, because this is where they also preach to, if you're born this way, you have to marry someone who is lighter or Caucasian man for your grandchildren or for your kids to have better opportunities later in life, because this is the mentality that most of these people have. You've seen so many people denying blackness. I know Black, I'm Dominican. They don't even get to understand the difference between ethnicity and nationality. And we've seen so many people doing this. You've seen so many people calling out Black people and telling Black people, why are you forcing us to be Black or something of this sort? But that is not the case. There is no Black person that is ever forcing anyone to claim their Blackness. It's just the reality of things. It's so crazy that right now, They're calling for unity when all along they've never wanted to associate themselves with black people. They've never wanted to associate themselves with blackness. The reason as to why you actually see so many people saying this, I know black, I'm Dominican, or I'm not black, I'm whatever they say, it's about distancing from blackness to feel safer, to feel whiter. And now coming to call for black unity after all that you've been doing, it's just so crazy. And I don't think that you're actually expecting to get something from the black community, because they don't owe you unity. You owe them everything. The reason as to why so many communities, so many other non-white people who are living in the United States of America, it's because of the fight that was put by black Americans. That is the only reason that you're actually able to be in the United States of America. When you go there and say that black people are lazy, we work so hard for everything that we have. You see how people are working in these farms, are working at this construction site, they work very hard, and you start looking down on black people and think that they don't work hard and all that. Because these are cases that you've seen, these are comments that you've seen on comment sections on so many videos where people blaming black people, calling them lazy, and saying a lot of other horrible things about black Americans. The only people that I actually really feel sorry for in all that this is happening in the Latin community, it's the Afro-Latinos. Even though I've seen a number of them claiming that they're actually not black, and some even saying that I'm half black and I'm half Mexican, which is quite crazy, is that most of the times that they are pushed to picking side. When they go to the Latin community, they are too black to be part of the Latin community. When they come to the black community, you are too Latino to be part of the black community. You have to understand that this is not individuals being hateful. It's about centuries of colonization that taught people, especially in the Latin community, to hate blackness even within their own community. This is why you're even seeing parents talking bad on their black kids, or kids that have more melanin than other of their kids. This has been the case. People have talked about this, and until people from the Latin community are able to face that, until that point, you cannot call for solidarity, because there is so much that needs to be worked on when it comes to the Latin community and how they actually view melanin and blackness and how they view black people. And this is why they couldn't listen to black Americans when they told them not to go and vote against their own self-best interest. When you look at so many of these telenovelas, you'll see almost no Afro-Latinos. And you remember that time where those racist leaked tapes from the Latino politicians in LA? And honestly, that is not a one-time thing. That is what happens behind closed doors. That is how so many people from your community actually talk about black Americans behind closed doors. You see, you'll even see people who are sitting here making videos calling for unity, but when you get to listen to what they say close behind doors about black Americans, it's actually crazy. So many Latinos voted the way they voted because some were chasing whiteness, thinking that proximity to whiteness would protect them, or proximity to power would actually protect them. And right now it's not working for them. And the only way, or the only place they can run to, is to call for black unity. There is a lot that the Latin community needs to work on in their own community before going out there to call for black unity, before getting angry that black people are saying that this is actually not our fight. We've been fighting for over 400 years. Whatever is happening to you guys right now has been happening to us. We've been facing this for over 400 years, so this is not new to us. That is the only thing that black Americans are saying, and clearly and honestly, that is not their fight, because it's not the black Americans that are being deported. I know it's sad that families are being separated. I know it's sad that kids are being separated from their parents, but that is not a black people's problem. Whatever is happening was not caused by black Americans. So you need to give black Americans a break. They have been warning you. They tried so hard to fight for people to be able to go and live and migrate to the United States of America, and now you're calling them out for the problems that your own community built for themselves and everything that they're facing right now. I don't know what you all think, guys, but I would really love to know what your thoughts are on the comment section. I really do appreciate your love and support on this channel. This episode was just for education purposes only, to remind people that when you don't care about issues that are affecting others in the society, sooner or later those issues will finally catch up with you, and it will be hard for you to survive with all going on and everything that's happening, because you've never experienced that before. You've never been forced to survive in such circumstances before, like now what is happening in the United States of America. All these issues that are actually happening, these are things that Black Americans have to been dealing with for over 400 years. They'll still deal with these till to date, and this is why Black Americans are simply saying this is not our fight, because what is happening right now, we are able to deal with everything. So it's high time for people to learn that when you see an issue or a problem that's affecting your neighbor, just know that one way or another, that thing is finally gonna catch up with you, especially when it comes to society and countries and leadership and the policies that we support. Thank you so much for watching up to this part. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and until the next episode, bye.